Yeah, it should be, oh. The stream stopped. I restarted it. Now I'm verifying that it restarted in the live version that's on YouTube Studio right now. I suspect it did, but I'm not sure. And then on this monitor, I have the video that we're supposed to be watching in the background completely stalled. And so now I have to troubleshoot that. I'm going to just refresh the page. I haven't tried that yet. Probably the first thing that I could have done, but as I said, I'm new to live streaming and I'm going to learn as I go. And I'm still going to make mistakes all the time. Things that I thought I learned, things that I stated that I learned, I'm going to forget. But I'm just going to keep streaming. Okay. We were here. And we were like, was it this one? No. That's so cute. Enzo. It was a longer video that we were watching where it was hanging. We've already seen this one. It's a good rerun, though. It's a really good rerun. This is the one. I clicked on that one. I love that. Did you guys see that? Watch this. Woo! And so it just flies out of nowhere. Hops over that classical, fancy ass classic English trough. Just leaps over it like it was nothing. One minute courage, the next minute cowardice, though, because tonight there was like a small cardboard box that was in his way and he started whining. He couldn't get over it. I was like, dude, you've leapt over fancy ass classic English trough that's like 18 inches off the ground. What's with this, you know? But it's okay. Just because you achieve one level on one day doesn't mean it's going to happen the next day. Probably will have to face the same fears over and over again. As long as you have dogs and jerky, things will be great. Just don't make jerky out of your fucking dog. Unless you're really desperate. In which case, you know, go on ahead. What's happening next here? We've already seen this one, right? We need to get to the part where I'm mixing. Huckleberry. Work got a lot easier when I started dressing up for work. Dressing the way I wanted to work and look. It just became easy to work. It is easier for me to look like this than to look like a regular person. If that doesn't tell you how fucking bonkers my brain is, I don't know what does. But I like it. I like that I'm more comfortable like this because I'd rather do this than whatever else, you know, I used to be in terms of fashion. But fashion, yeah. It can reflect changes in your personality. And I'm experiencing those in very positive ways right now. And I love that for myself. And just helping me, yeah, it's helping me to relate to people. Wardrobe malfunction. There we go. I'm sparsely recognized for who I am. Petroselinum crispum, and I won't rest till I'm one of them. Your best foods, your next foods. Your oops, I had sex with my ex foods. I bring party, cause I'm hardy. Down to zone 3, get to know me. I'm more than you presume. Garnish this. I'm thinking about busking. I'm going to busk. I'm not just thinking about it. I'm going to busk. That's why I strutted up and down 6th Avenue and strutted up and down South Tacoma Way. Danced and jived. Because I just wanted to feel like, oh, this is what it feels like when my body is moving around on the street. It was kind of a performance because I was the only one doing that at that moment and looking unusual. Other people looked unusual in their own way, which is good. I love that. Part of the reason I did that on 56 and South Tacoma Way, you know, that district, is because I couldn't look like this there and be okay and safe and comfortable. Same with 6th Ave. But if I showed up like this, well, in Lakewood, which is where I live, it'd be fine because the state mental hospital is just down the street and people are used to seeing eccentric characters. It does throw them for a loop when you have like a dog like Enzo on a leash and you're doing the involuntary running man. Your involuntary running man syndrome has kicked in hard and you're like in a crosswalk. And so I do the running man in the crosswalk. And I've had white shoes that I've been rocking lately. At night, I will walk down the street listening to Greg Freeman's Colorado, and I will have a headlamp, and I will flash my white shoes while I'm just like jiving down the street. Because I want to be a busker. It's not just because I'm out showing off or whatever, but you have to show off in order to work your way into showing off even more. At least for me. There are other people who could just like go to the street corner and start busking. They don't need permission. They don't need a permit. They don't need any sort of sanction from anyone, anywhere. And I admire those people. At some future date, I hope to be one of those people who can show up in the equivalent of a street corner and just start busking. But I ain't there yet. I am going through a process. And my process has been getting out of my comfort zone. One of the, it's just so cool to be in your body and in the costume that you want to be in and show up to places. And I wouldn't be able to be sitting here right now doing a live stream had I not done that. Doing a live stream with 0 viewers. Like I said last night, this live stream is for me. Just start having fun, and then eventually people will join you. It could be posthumously. Let's hope there's like some AI algorithm in the future that discovers my content. Speaking of retrocausality, let's start manifesting that. Like, what would we feed to the algorithm? Yeah. It's saying just keep doing what you're doing. Don't think about it too much. I love that answer. I fucking love that answer. Yes, I remember this part. I'm the writer, the producer, the director, the craftsman. I'm the magical cement fairy. So you will see me making some directorial decisions, because to the extent that I could, I planned the camera angles. The execution could be shite, but I planned the camera angles. Now this would be a spot where I need to add narration. I'm putting in fibers. I'm putting in polyfibers because they will help the mix hold together. And the fibers, it's best practice in my experience. Somebody may have a different method that works better or works in an equivalent sort of way, and if so, please comment about it. But the tip that I learned is to put them into the water, because if you try to break them apart by hand and put them in the mixer, actually I learned this from my own experience, and then when somebody was like, do it this way, I was like, fuck yeah, yes, we'll do. But I used to try to pick them apart by hand. It was like a long process, and then it's like cotton. Some of them are flying away if there's even the slightest gust of wind. And so this works better. So you add your small handful, like part of a handful. It doesn't really require much, even for a trough of this magnitude. So I would say I put in about a third of a cup, and some people may come at me in the comments and just be like, dude, you're using 3 times more than you need to. I don't know. But just to be on the safe side, a third of a cup per batch. And I did 2 batches that were roughly equal in size for the base and partway up the sides, and then for the rest of the walls. The height is 14 inches all around. Now, yes, so I think I was having trouble with my mixer. I was having trouble getting the jack or the key or whatever. It wasn't clamping on. Normally it's easy to twist this one part of it and get it to clamp on to whatever bit or tool that you're attempting to work with. And I just encountered some difficulty here, which I'm narrating for some reason, even though it's not that exciting. It's a problem, and then I had to solve the problem. I had to mix it by hand, but I had a nifty tool. See, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Mm-hmm. So I mixed the water. I need to let the dogs in a little bit, because the dog cam is boring. I'll just say it. It's a snooze fest up there. Actually, I like that. I like that little vignette. I hand painted that sign. I love that sign. I did it really fast too. I had to. I was showing my cement crafts at a fair in Ocean Shores in May, and I needed a sign for my booth. And the night before I painted that, it only took me like an hour. It's a good sign. Oh, here we are. We're at the point where the video hangs. I want to finish watching this footage like during this live stream. I don't want this to drag out into a part 3. But this thing has already cost us a lot. It's cost us a lot of time. try signing out. Oh. Tried signing out of the cloud here, and I'm now going to sign back in because maybe that will help. Yes, okay, so we're in this one still. And what are we doing? No. That's sweet. Oh. Yeah. That's why it hangs when it's trying to pick up the second part of the video or the third part. Okay, we got it going. I think we're going forward now. Don't hang again, please. Okay. I've been avoiding this. The best solution is going to be to download this video and unzip it and play it from my own computer. Because this is some bullshit right here that they're putting us through. My laziness is no excuse. Like, I hoped to just leave everything up there in the cloud and not download anything and unzip anything and put anything in any folder or anything. I just wanted to keep it in that one spot in the cloud. And then record the video over here where I'm doing the narration, and then it's all displayed here during the recording process, and I never would have needed to download the video, but here we are. We're waiting for a huge file. The only thing we can do is dance to Greg Freeman's Colorado and let the dogs in. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to dance and then let the dogs in. earbuds needed to be charged. So we're going to go old school. Colorado by Greg Freeman. Uh-oh, we left behind some critical pieces of the puzzle. we're going to leave camera 2 on, but we're going to take off these headphones because I couldn't hear myself talk. Oh, that was so fun. That song has brought me so much joy. So yes, I don't want a job where I cannot dance when I want to like that, because it's so healthy, so healthy to dance like that, to let the involuntary running man take over, you know? Yeah. And I'm like gonna work on Roger Rabbit as well. You know, like I'm a little rusty on the old Roger Rabbit. I got to build strength in my toes. But yeah, I want to alternate between the running man and then the involuntary Roger Rabbit syndrome. So something like that, you know? Yeah, it's a matter of practicing. And these boots help. Yeah, now that I know what my costume is, I can practice in my costume. And these are the boots that I got for $15 at Value Village today. Fuck yeah. Okay, the dogs are coming in now. Huckleberry wants to stay out and investigate. He can stay out there. That's fine. Huckleberry's out investigating something. Do you want to be on camera 2? You know where camera 2 is. Let's get you over here to camera 2. Oh, let me get you a treat first. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to stage dad you. You have worth in your own right, not just because you're a superstar. I want you to know that, okay? I loved you before you were famous. A lot. Okay. One of my buds is not charging. Why am I taking care of this during a live stream? It's very rude. Because I have this obsession with having everything at full charge all the time. I don't know why. It's just something that happened to me along the way. Something that I'm working on. I just caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. Because I don't have a mirror over there, and so I can look at myself when I'm in camera too. I'm flying blind, but I kind of like it. It mimics how it would be if I were facing an audience, like an auditorium full of people. Like, how would I look to all these people? Like some kind of oddity? I just use my imagination. Yes, maybe I do look like some kind of oddity, but I like it. I would want to run into somebody who looked like me. Wouldn't you, Enzo? You would want to run into somebody like me who brings you treats. I did promise. They are telepathic, you know. He was sitting there saying, you said treat, you said treat, you said treat. I did say treat. Here you go, buddy. Oh, actually, let's go do this on camera. Let me exploit you. Let me exploit you for views. Yeah, kind of more like this. Yeah, that's good. There you go, buddy. Sit. Sit. Show us you can sit. Good boy. Good boy. Such a good boy. Such a good boy, aren't you? Yeah. Huckleberry wanted to stay outside and investigate, huh? Is he doing an investigation of a raccoon? Something got a bunch of our chickens. I think it was a raccoon. This was like a week ago. Yeah. You're a really good boy, and we're so glad you're here. What is this, day 10? Yeah. We've had him since a week ago Saturday. I guess maybe it's day 11. We've had you, and we've loved it. Yeah. You like going to the dog park every day, huh? He's very good at socializing with the other dogs. aren't you? You know how to play, or you're learning to play when it comes to other dogs. Yeah. You like to chase them and stuff, but you don't bark very much. I haven't really even heard his voice yet. I've heard him whimper, like when he couldn't jump over that box earlier. But he doesn't bark. He lets Huck do the barking. Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? I think I'm going to take off the boots. As wonderful as it is to have them. It's been years since I wore cowboy boots. I got these boots today at Value Village. And it's the first time I've had cowboy boots on for like 25 or 30 years, I think. And you have to work your way into them because they squeeze your toes together. And I already have to wear orthotics. Like these are the best these of the pairs that I own, which are numerous. These are the best ones for this particular shoe. The other ones I were wearing covered the entire foot, so my toes felt really squeezed, and I didn't like it. Even more squeezed than normal, because cowboy boots are already squeezing your toes. Why am I talking about this? This is not interesting information. Anyway, I'm going to go wash my hands, and then we'll be back on the main camera. That's right. Got a whole bunch of new bandanas in different colors today, but they're not dry yet. Excuse me a moment while I change the laundry. You should be able to hear me, but if not, I'll only be gone for like a minute. Finally, a moment's peace without all those people around. Shit. Take a minute to collect my thoughts. Oh, these are so pretty. Look at all of these. Pink one, purple one, turquoise one. Wow. Yes. I will come for thee when thou art dry. I will come to thee. And I will fetch thee, and I will don thee, and I will love thee. Oh, no. Wait, no. We want more time than 20 minutes. We need full-ass rigmarole here. There we go. Nice. Yes. Yes, this is a good evening. When I was a kid and I had my own variety show, I was also performing for myself, kind of like this live stream where there are no viewers at present. But I was preparing for a future when I would have an audience. Almost feels like for my current role as Richard Songbird, the Magical Cement Fairy, if I had to make my resume, the last most relevant experience I had was between the ages of like, I don't know, before I turned like 13 or 14. That was like the peak learning period for me to be successful as a Magical Cement Fairy. Including performing in front of the bathroom mirror for like hours at a time. Not just your run-of-the-mill toothpaste commercials and shampoo commercials, where I was every character in the advertisement, but no. Elaborate soap operas revolving around toothpaste and shampoo and other things, and toothbrushes were characters, you know? With your imagination, every family member's toothbrush becomes every family member. It's like you can work out your problems in a kind of therapy, right, Enzo? You can work out your problems in a kind of therapy by using toothbrushes as proxies. You can scream at people in front of the mirror for show, of course. I didn't have any real concerns at that point. I'm sure. No, I probably did have real concerns. I just was coping with them. I was just going inside to cope with them. Traveling, inside. And then I went inside so far that I didn't know where outside was anymore. And I guess my whole life has been a process of gradually branching out and putting out my tentacles and exploring and getting feedback that actually everything is not as bad as you think it is, and it's okay, and you can venture out just a little bit more, and just, you know, just keeping that vibe going. Exploratory vibe, inching out vibe. Yeah. I'm talking to Enzo like he's listening to me. I came over here for water. I need to hydrate because I'm using my voice a lot, trying to get through these videos here. I'm hoping that the hang is no longer hanging, but kind of feel like this is a bigger problem that I'm going to have to resolve. As I suspected. The gremlins of technology have set out to attack. This is an attack of Satan himself on this very broadcast, and I rebuke the Satan of the cloud. I rebuke thee. I tell thee, cast thyself out of this broadcast. Okay, not responding, so I'm going to go to plan B. I'm going to go somewhere where Satan can't get us. My own hard drive. And we're going to downloads, then we have to unzip it. Wait a minute. Didn't it download to the downloads folder? I did not like that one. Okay, let me go over here and go to downloads. Couldn't download, network issue. Shit. Do I have to stop and restart the internet? Oh, I'll bet it can't download. It's probably because I'm using a lot of bandwidth to stream. I know that's the case, but you should, it's like expensive internet and it's fast internet. It should be able to handle this. I mean, even if it downloads slow, it should be able to download. Oh, you know what I could do is download sections of it at a time. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Can I stop this? I'm going to stop this. Okay. I'm going to download sections of it at a time because the file is huge. So I'm going to do part 1 at 1080p. Good. Okay. See? Eventually I figure shit out. It could take me a while. In future, when I'm live streaming, there could be a chat and people could be telling me stuff that I need to know. And I'll probably ignore it, most of it. But anyway, answers to problems could come up, like technical difficulties. As I'm live streaming, people could just tell me the answer. That alone is like worth, that alone was like worth so much effort to live stream, because people will give you tech support for free in the comments. The lengths I will go to not pay for tech support. This is so much more fun than having a regular job. I just want you to know that. Regular job. But I want this is the kind of life I want for everyone, except with money. Because mine doesn't have a lot of money yet, but it will. It will. So help me God. I'm still waiting for it to download. In the meantime, I'm going to dance to Greg Freeman's Colorado. I do not have any listening devices doing the input. I've listened to it so many times that it's like, it's fully there. It's fully there. Like my rooster belt? I started wearing it like this because I was like, I want people to see my rooster belt. And if it's under my shirt, it's not visible enough. So I'm going to put it over my shirt. And it changed my life. Little by little, evolution is happening. Here we are. Yes. Okay. We get to watch it progress. Oh, wait a minute. I think it just downloaded to the point. Wait, maybe I should have did part 2. Because I think this is the segment we've already seen. If it is, we'll just download the next one. Actually, we should get the next one started downloading. Yeah, even though we are going to be discussing part 1 at first. Yes. Thinking ahead. That's some strategery right there. Okay, so yes, I remember this part. I'm saying hi. I'm flying in to the studio. In a future edition of the Magical Cement Fairies Hard for Cement, we will be making that mushroom, which you can do inexpensively. You probably have the materials for the mold already lying around your house. And I will teach you the technique. All it takes is a pillowcase to make the head and your dad's pant leg to make the base. So what's happening here is I'm investigating where I left off. Oh, I'm showing this is what it should have looked like after I took away the mold and started making the second one. The second one should have looked like that upon completion. That one back there under wraps is the first one. Okay, so yes, we've seen this part. We need to just advance. We need to keep advancing. Yeah. Let's just say there's a lot of material that I'm going to be cutting to make the 20-minute version. Adding the fibers. We've already seen this at least once, if not twice. So what we're going to do now is open the next video that just downloaded and see if that gets us past the point where it was hanging. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. This is where I demonstrate how a magical cement fairy must sift the peat moss. I'm gloving up because peat moss is not fun on your hands, and it's also not fun to breathe in. but it makes good boogers. If you work with peat moss without a mask, you'll have really good boogers. It's basically booger starter. So I'm adding the peat moss to the mix. So what we're making here is a concrete trough in the classical English style. And the ingredients are peat moss, perlite, vermiculite, cement powder, polyfibers, water, and a whole lot of love and dedication. The outlaw cement fairy. In case you're wondering, I put in 24 scoops. I put in 24 scoops of the peat moss. Could I have used a bigger measuring cup? Yes, I could have. We're going by volume here for all of these ingredients. We did 24 peat moss. Oh, hold up. We didn't do 24 yet. Or did we? I thought we did 24. I wasn't counting. I was just kind of narrating and watching. It's tragic what happens to this planter after all this trouble. Yeah, it really sucks. I wanted it to look like the perfect classical English trough, because this was my prime time moment. I was shooting all this video. I'd even practiced. I'd made the practice one in the back to try to get ready to make the second one. I made a mistake. And I decided rather than reshoot the entire thing and make a third one, I'm just gonna present this as it is. And it'll be a warning, fucking warning shot across the bow. Do not do what I'm going to do the next morning in the demolding process. Because the whole thing, I haven't even watched the footage. I hope it catches my facial reaction. I went through it. I went through it that moment. But this is the night before, when I'm happily sifting my peat moss, not a care in the world, listening to Greg Freeman's Colorado over and over again. Yeah, that's so fun, and it's a good workout. I'm looking for sticks and any material that's larger than 3/8. It's just, there's a screen, and so anything smaller than 3/8 just falls right through. I'm nearsighted, so when I'm wearing glasses in these shots, it's purely for vanity. I see better without them when I'm in the studio. I'm going to order a new pair of glasses. I'm excited. I just started thinking about that on my walk earlier. I was like, yeah, what you going to do? I don't know, something crazy. Something really wild. Look at me sifting. People say that magical cement fairies are lazy. So part of the reason we're doing this whole live stream is to disprove the haters out there who would suggest that magical cement fairies don't work their asses off. Look at this man. It's not an I Dream of Jeannie situation. We don't just wrinkle our nose. No, wait a minute. That was Bewitched. I'm getting my shows that I wasn't supposed to watch when I was a kid mixed up, because we were not allowed to watch I Dream of Jeannie, and we were not allowed to watch Bewitched. Not allowed, because they were considered examples of how popular culture didn't put their trust in Jesus. They put their trust in Samantha, the witch, and Esmeralda, her mother. And they put their trust in Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie, but not in Jesus Christ himself. So we could not watch those shows. Fortunately, my mom kind of liked them. So they were like outlawed, and my dad literally would use the word outlawed. That show is outlawed. So we were all outlaws. Like, we would test it. My mom liked both of those shows. So, you know, we would just, Dad wasn't home from work yet or whatever, we would just turn it on, and then she would usually watch most of it and then have a comment at the end about how we shouldn't have watched it. And they put their faith in the wrong thing. And you go back and read some of the plot lines, and it's like, wow, I don't know how adding Jesus would have helped this show, because it's already so good and so entertaining. My grandma actually wrote letters to the TV station about shit like that. Gloria. So here I am picking sticks out of the peat moss, purifying the peat moss, if you will. In a future episode of Hard for Cement, we will also be creating our own, or you can create your own new version of the shrine there. The white shrine that has a picture of me when I was 15 years old in it. I made that shrine, and the mold was a cardboard box from Amazon, a plastic grocery bag that I got from Safeway, and some cotton cloth and cement powder and water. So the only ingredient you probably need that you don't have is cement powder. And when we make that craft, I will tell you how to obtain cement powder. But yeah, I love that shrine. It's the one sitting right over there in the dog camera. Now, I guess I didn't have 24 containers of the peat moss. So I had to sift more. That's what's happening here. I have this sneaking suspicion that I left off somewhere here last night when I ended last night's live stream. So I feel like I've been live streaming for 2 hours now, and I still have not caught up to the place where I was when I left last night's live stream. That's how clunky this process is. That's how ill-conceived and frustrating it is. Imagine, I mean, it's bad enough that you're the viewer of this. Imagine being the one creating it. I mean, it makes me want to go and pet a dog so I can get re-regulated, because we're just now getting started. 2 hours into it. Do I look like I care? I don't. I don't care. I'm going to just keep downloading sections. We're going to keep watching them. And we're going to get through this. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3. I need number 4. Yeah, so we actually got through, we got through all of this. Tonight, earlier tonight, we did. This is what happens when I have too much caffeine late at night. I'm behind the times, but also ahead of the times. It does take a lot of energy to be a magical cement fairy, just in day-to-day existence. Fortunately, I have good fuel and good support. Now we're back to the place where we were very early on. Okay. And we need to be to the part where I want to be to the part where I'm adding. Yes, this is where we left off, and where the previous video was hanging. The one in the cloud was hanging. So we just need part 4, which is just about to be done downloading. So to recap what we're doing tonight, this live stream is me editing the footage for a video in which I will show people exactly everything that they need to know to make this fancy-ass classic English garden trough in a video of the length of 20 minutes or less. And because of how my brain works, it's easier for me to process things in a performance like this live stream, even though no one is watching, but I still consider it a performance because someday in the future I may watch this, maybe it'll be 100 years from now. Whoever you are, thank you. And it's also an opportunity for me to practice my raps, which I love doing. It's my variety show, so I get to do whatever I want on here, including dance, pet dogs, stretching and breathing. Yeah, those are the things that I like to work on. And I need to get part 5 from here, which I think is going to be a smaller file than the other ones. No? Okay. This is me packing the form. You know, we watched all of this last night. Good Lord. Richard Songbird. I've been struggling over this entire thing. Okay, so then I put sand in the middle of the plastic. So I put a second layer of plastic around. Let me back up here because this, yeah. There was enough hypertufa mix, the concrete. In this case, the concrete is hypertufa. The recipe's in the description. Put enough down to cover the walls by go like a third of the way up the wall. So then I needed a whole second batch of almost an equal amount as what I had already used, maybe 2/3 of the amount. And so I mixed up a second batch. A couple of hours had elapsed, so I'm using water to stimulate the joining of the two, the older batch with the newer batch, to stimulate conjunction. That sounds fun. I like to stimulate conjunction. Yeah, so you just, spray some water. And then you get sand out of the bag, which is what's happening there. Getting sand out of the bag. That's the part in the song where he's talking about looking toward heaven as if he knew the joke. I love how I was wearing these earrings that night. Yes. Yes, way to show up for myself. Pirate earrings. Yes, I'm tamping the bottom layer in place. Spraying the joint. Oh yeah, I'd added the sand. Okay, this is a critical detail. I'd added the sand, and now I'm using the sand to be the inner form. This is a technique that I learned by watching a video on hypertufa container production by the Chicago Botanic Garden. I have the Chicago Botanic Garden to thank for this method, which works really well. Unless you're me. I take full responsibility for what happened the following morning. I will point out my error when the time comes. Meanwhile, this is me in a more halcyon time, unaware of what was going to happen the next day. I'm adding more sand here. I will caution you that if you're just using those big binder clips, those big clamps, like those ones with the steel clamps with orange pads on them, the ones that I use. If you're using that method and you're not sealing your project with bolts, I would lay off the sand. Like, I added twice as much sand as I should have. I added 2 bags. I should have tried to get by with maybe a little bit over 1 and just dampened the sand first, because the sand was too dry. So you can dampen the sand, which helps it hold its form. And then I could just push it up on the sides. I didn't need to add a whole bunch to the middle the way that I did. And also this force that I'm doing here to punch it into place and try to get the older material to join the newer material, that was causing the form to fall apart before my very eyes. What's interesting is that when I made the first one, the test one, the night before, the one that's in the upper corner over there, under plastic, curing, which looks exactly the way that it's supposed to, I used no sand in that method. But it occurred to me the next day, I was like, you know, it was kind of hard to get the walls all the way up, because I was just relying on the hypertufa material to be of the right consistency. And you can do it that way. You can finesse it and keep the material as dry as possible. You don't want to have any excess water in it. You want it to be as dry as possible, so it just feels a little like damp to the touch. And then when it's in that consistency, but thoroughly mixed, because the cement powder needs to be fully incorporated, but when it's mixed to that consistency, you can stack it quite high. And that's the method that I used the night before. The walls on that were not quite to 14 inches though. And so I wanted to get the extra 2 inches here. And that's why I mixed more material the second night, and why I implemented the sand technique, which does come from the Chicago Botanic Garden. It's not just the addition of the inner sheet. It's also incorporates sand inside of the inner sheet. And then the idea here is to just continue looking around all of your edges. And I have a stick that I use. It's like 1.5 inches in width. And so I use that to tamp down material. I think that's coming up here. yeah, I'm really fidgeting with that. I'm fidgeting with the forms because they're just joined by those. I mean, even if I had two of the clamps on each side, I only used one. I should have bought more when I was at Lowe's, but I forgot to. So I only have the 4. I mean, that alone, sitting here problem solving, would have helped a lot because the sides just kept bowing and getting out of whack, and you'll see that that's not a bad thing in the future iterations of these that I have in mind, because we're starting with the classics and then we're just fucking them up, because I had to recover from the mistake that I made the following morning. And so let's just say that this is what we're creating here is the futuristic version of the fancy ass trough that your aunt left you. And like, it's just getting started. The form that's unveiled the following morning. I haven't even seen it since I finished the revisions the following morning. I looked at the outside of it. It has a piece of plastic over it, and it has good moisture. I saw condensation. I'm like, oh, you're good. I'll let you sleep. We'll come back to you. Because I wanted to do the reveal on camera. I wanted to pull the plastic off and be like, oh, here's my reaction. Because what was a tragedy is surely a triumph. So you'll see that the material there is thicker at this point than 1.5 inches on the walls. And that's because I'm going to use the sand. I'm going to push the sand and press some of that material more into the sides. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Part of the reason that a big reason that I don't have any viewers right now is because I haven't told anyone that I'm doing these live streams. Yeah. I haven't told them because I wanted to come here first and just practice for myself and get comfortable in the environment. Just try to take away some of the weight of the newness of being in a new medium and like knowing what to do with all of the technology and all of that stuff. Just wanted to practice first. And I love that these are being recorded. And I am going to use this for my video on making this wonderful garden trough. Yeah. Okay. This is actually how I came up with the ideas of putting binder clips on my shoulders. I wanted to show off my upper arms. So I pinned this was purely for reasons of vanity, but it turned out to be for utilitarian. It turned out to serve a utilitarian purpose because I I decided they were my vestigial fairy wings. And I was like, I always have to have binder clips now because they're my wings. People ask if I have wings. I'll say yes. As a matter of fact, I do. They are vestigial, but they still transport me to different places. And then as I was getting ready for last night's live stream, I wanted to display the rose that I had been wearing, but I didn't have any pockets on that fit. And I was like, where could I put this rose? If only there was some way to pin it to my... Oh, that's what the wings are for. That's what the binder clips are for. So that reminds me, I've got to go and get those and put them on this shirt. Oh, excuse me, buddy. Excuse me, buddy. I'm just slipping out here for a second. Just slipping out here. Hi, bud. How are you, huh? Are you getting some good sleeps? Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like a modern, it's part of the modern condition about coming up and about showing up, you know, as one's authentic self. Because there's a big part of us that wants to be witnessed by strangers, but not by our own kin. Like, it'd be so much easier to come out if you just were coming out to strangers, right? Because it's like moving to a new city, right? And leaving behind, yeah, the impressions and misimpressions of the people you used to surround yourself with. But after I came out, I realized, like, after I came out as gay, publicly, at the age of 50, I realized that the people who matter don't care. In fact, they celebrate. Some of them even celebrate. Others are just nonchalant and lackadaisical. And that's probably because they have a lot of other shit going on in their lives and it has nothing to do with you. But they're like supportive from a distance, or at least not actively thwarting this. Which is fine with me. I've had very little thwarting, very little overt thwarting thrown in my direction. And it's a privilege because I'm male and I'm older now. So I'm going to use my privilege because it's really fun to look like this. It's really fun to just walk down the street and be like, this is me. I get such a kick out of it. I am a magical cement fairy. I'm spreading the gospel of the hip-hop herbarium because I'm also a rap artist. And my forthcoming hip-hop comedy album is called Underrepresented Herbs Represent. And that brings us to the next segment, Winter Savory. I'm just going to leave this, yeah, I'm going to leave that running in the background while I'm Winter Savory. Be hilarious if there's like a tiny Winter Savory over here in the corner. No, I'll make it a little bigger. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing material from the cement mixer and I'm stuffing it in the cracks. The crack. Okay? That's what's happening over there. To get ready for this roll, I strutted, and I mean strutted, and I jived, and I danced, on the street, all the way up and down 6th Avenue and all the way up and down South Tacoma Way in my fair city of Tacoma on Saturday night, waving this sign, just dancing, just being in my body. I was like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'm giving away my secret. You gotta wear 2 belts for this look. Forgot to untuck. Or maybe I involuntarily tucked. Okay, so this is Winter Savory. He goes hard because he is a dominant herb. Don't get this fucked up. This is not some weak ass summer savory bullshit. This is winter savory. Used to flavor soups, stews, casseroles, meats, as we'll see in this piece, and also for stuffing. But you don't want to use too much, which is why Winter Savory is offering this warning to your turkey this Thanksgiving. The title is You Ain't in No Rom-Com. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. I'm more umami than your mommy who's your daddy, chicken patty. All the foods they call me Dommy. Just as that pimp, I hope pastrami. They all know that I'm a baddie when I pull up in my caddy. Feel the air, it goes all balmy at the sight of my salami. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. I skip the meat cute, stick it right up in that poop chute. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with the dom-dom. Yeah, you in a porno, and I'm in your cornhole, plunging in my baster with all this pungent flavor. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with the dom-dom. Squirt it up the inside, spurt it down the backside. I tantalize you with my vibe. I hypnotize you with my size. I tenderize your merchandise. I moisturize your breast, your thighs. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. Yeah, you in a porno, and I'm in your cornhole, plunging in my baster with all this pungent flavor. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. Okay. My best performance yet. I loved that. Yes. Yes, I'm getting it. Oh, I'm so happy I'm getting it. Ah. You repeat something 400 times and you'll get closer. Oh, that was so fun. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with the dom-dom. As I've said before, the hardest part of doing that song is not laughing. I just don't, it's too important. Every word is so carefully chosen. I cannot crack up. So breath control is really important. So I have enough breath because there's that long riff. Let's practice, shall we? There's a long riff. And I'm doing that. Because I need to take an air before I get going on this. I tantalize you with my vibe. And so the idea is tantalize you with my vibe. I hypnotize you with my size. So it's like an elephant swinging its trunk. I hypnotize you with my size. I tenderize your merchandise. Why am I singing with this accent? No, I don't need to sing. I tantalize you with my vibe. Oh no, it's stuck. I don't know. I'm just going to get through the lyrics, okay? I tantalize you with my vibe. I hypnotize you with my size. I tenderize your merchandise. So, clomping down, we're tenderizing the merchandise. And then I moisturize your breasts and thighs. Oh no, something's going to happen to us on YouTube. We've got to change that. I moisturize your Chester fries. I moisturize your Chester fries. But we'll all know what it means. I moisturize your Chester fries. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with the dom-dom. I should do it from here because I can't see myself in that camera. I'm just doing, when I'm using camera 2, I'm staring out into the void. So sometimes it's good to come back and have a mirror, which is what is on screen right now. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. I'm more umami than your mommy who's your daddy, chicken patty. All the foods they call me Dommy. Just ask that pimp, I hope, pastrami. They all know that I'm a baddie when I pull up in my caddy. Feel the air, it goes all balmy at the sight of my salami. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. I skip the meet cute, stick it right up in that poop chute. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. Yeah, you in a porno, and I'm in your cornhole, plunging in my baster with all this pungent flavor. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. Squirt it up the inside, spurt it down the backside. I tantalize you with my vibe. I hypnotize you with my size. I tenderize your merchandise. I moisturize your Chester fries. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. Yeah, you in a porno, and I'm in your cornhole, plunging in my baster with all this pungent flavor. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. I should have had my winter savory sign. I realized that at the very end. I was like, this is really good. You look really good. You look like a fucking dom-dom right now. Who would have thunk? I thought I would have to wear leather. That's actually the costume I'm going for. Dark green leather. This guy's here. Oh no, this is Richard Songbird. AKA MC Bouquet Garni. But the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Did we watch this one yet? I think we did. Yeah, we watched this one, right? Yeah, I made one last little thing because there was some leftover material. Yes, I was really tired at this point. I was like, but I can't let good hypertufa go to waste. I had to clean out the cement mixer anyway. So I wasn't just gonna throw it out and let it go to waste. So I grabbed a round bowl and I made a round, surprisingly, not surprisingly, I made a round little bowl hypertufa. My tip for this one is when you lay it down to cure, you want to don't just lay it on the ground directly or on a surface. Try to find a piece of plywood or another board that can support the weight of it. Lay it on that board. Because if you need to pick it up and move it before it's dry, it will be much easier to do so if it's on a platter of sorts. So that concludes the filming from that evening. Now we're going to go back over to the cloud storage and we're going to look for video from the next morning because I do want to finish this live stream eventually. And I want to show the demolding process and the tragedy that happened and the solution that I came up with to fix the problem, I hope. We'll see. But along the way, you're going to see a live reaction of me having an oh shit moment. We're going to go through it together again. This is like therapy for me because this really sucked when it happened. And now I have to relive it because I recorded it for you. And I want you to see that even magical cement fairies can make mistakes and then come back and fix them. Stay hydrated, people. I'm put an apparition here, kind of like Parsley. I'm parsley. I'm sparsely recognized for who I am. Petroselinum crispum. And I won't rest on one of them, your best foods, your next foods, your Tyrannosaurus Rex foods. Bring the party, cause I'm hardy. That was on 3. Get to know me. I'm more than you presume. Garnish this. I'm a main dish. I ain't nameless. Garnish this. I'm parsley. Remember, when you are asked to vote for the #1 cement craft influencer and hip-hop comedy star in the world, you better fucking vote for Richard Songbird. This is the next morning, and guess what song I'm still listening to? Hell yeah. Look at that fit. What's weird is like, I kind of feel like I just rested. It's the next morning. I'm like, oh, I'm like feeling the vibe from the video. Like, oh, I've slept and, you know, things are good. I can hear the Vivaldi spring song playing in the background of my mind. Because in the foreground of my mind, of course, is Greg Freeman's Colorado. Now, those pants I've had for years, and I've gotten paint because I want to paint gold lettering that says Magical Cement Fairy on those pants. They're high quality pants. They're not ready. Like when it's their time to go, trust me, I will make a mushroom out of each of those pant legs when it's their time. But they've still got a lot of life left in them, and they're going to be a billboard. Gold lettering, Magical Cement Fairy. Yes. I remember I was looking at the camera and I was going, I'm sending beams and rays of light to the people who are going to watch this video. I was trying to get Huck to dance with me. Yeah. There he goes. Good Huckleberry. Good Enzo, too. I don't want to wake him up. They're both sleeping. At least Enzo's on the couch tonight. Last night he was on the floor right here next to me. Didn't even lay on the blanket that I brought out for him. This is really cute. Look at this. Yeah. That shirt's already a mess. Yeah. Oh, because I come back from the dog park. That's why. I wear a weighted vest when I'm at the dog park most mornings. So I was already sweaty from working out at the dog park. This is so amusing to me. I don't care if anyone else doesn't like it. I can hear the music in my head. Yeah, I know exactly what part of the song this is. Okay, we've got the fly-in. Wearing my director hat. This is the decision to... Oh, whoops, I did not mean to stop it. This was the decision to have a fly-in every time to start the show. Caught a glimpse of Enzo there. And then we go inside the cement mixer. And then back to me. And again, I have my vestigial fairy wings on. The binder clips. It's the very end of the song. Tonight it seems so clear to me. Hold the note. Starting again. Music was like, this song was like food for me. Is like food for me. fuel. Every time I do that with my hand, I'm casting a spell because I'm a magical cement fairy. It's a requirement. Spell casting. Constant. We're just like a couple minutes away from the moment. Put your hand over your heart. Concentrate on good things. I meant well. Oh, there's Huckleberry. Huckleberry, avert your eyes. These are my distressing tools. I mostly only use that pointy thing. This is a critical piece of information for anyone who's actually building this trough. This is something that only the people who watch the 20-minute video know. The people who watch the 20-minute version of this video will hear the following few sentences and may not get any of the dancing, any of the dogs, or much of the dogs. And a lot of the fun will be gone, but they will know how to make this fucking trough, which is what they came for. And that's why I'm making this video. I'm live streaming my editing process, and I'm going to subtract any part that is not necessary for somebody who just wants to make this fucking trough and get on with their lives. And I'm here for them too. I'm not just here to play around. I'm not just here to look like this. I'm here to provide a service. And I could do that however I look. And you can too. Okay. I'm using that black tub to capture the sand because the sand can be reused. And I want to preserve the sand so that it can be used in a future project. But as I was saying earlier, I will not use as much sand. I will use slightly more than half the amount I used here, which was 2 bags. How much do those bags weigh? It's more than 50 pounds, I think. 60 or 70 pounds each. Yes, little did I know what was about to come. We're just a couple minutes away from the incident. I'm prepared. I know how it ends. I know how the story ends, so I can live through this. I survive. But does our classic English planter in the making? Not really. It's not a classical English planter anymore. It's something else. Huckleberry. Hi, Ento. Hi, baby. They both had to smell the sand. I feel like I need to move the dog camera down. Oh, well, he's not even on the couch. Next time I get up, I'm going to do that. feel good about how much progress I'm making here, finally. Like 2 hours and 45 minutes into the stream. Making good progress. But I'm always making good progress. I mean, every day I've stretched myself a lot. And that's why this feels really good to be at this point. Yes, good directorial decisions, Richard Songbird. Such cuties. Okay. Okay, this is going to be like pulling a tooth. Get ready. No. No. This was the video that was show that I know how to make the perfect classical English garden trough, just like the one your dead aunt sent you from Shropshire. So I was coping. Here's what happened. As I was building up the walls with the plastic, I didn't reach down far enough into the sand to make sure that the material was consistently 1.5 inches on the walls. So there was like a bow coming out of the wall on each side. And when I went to lift the last bit of sand out, it caught the undercarriage. And we had a catastrophic failure of one of the walls. So then I had to go into problem-solving mode. I think it's cool when an artist is like, here's what happened in my process. Whether my fix is a good one or not remains to be seen. I think it is. I have a good hunch. Oh, it broke along the seam. So I had to leave to do an errand and pick up my daughter at school. She was doing an evening thing. And so I was gone for a while. And when I got back, it had cured quite a lot. So if I would have made the second batch for the upper walls, sooner, I don't think that it would have been as vulnerable. But ultimately, I just made a huge blunder. And this is where I have an important message for you kids. Don't try to look cool on the job. I was largely not performing for whoever's going to watch this video when I was making these videos. I was really trying to just be in the moment and create without attending to any reaction the audience might have. But I had this split-second moment when I was reaching in there to grab that sand. I was like, wouldn't this fucking look killer if I just like rip this sand out of it? Like, people would be like bowing down before this magical cement fairy. And you see where that pride got me. It fucked up my entire project. Because for that split second, I was like, fuck yeah. And then I was like, oh, fuck. But sometimes great things come out of sin. The sin of pride. Because what I'm going to make is even better than fucking classic English trough. You'll see. But at this moment, I was still in grief. I was like, oh no, I ruined it. I ruined it. And there was this voice in my head that was like, you are a fraud. Which is really funny to think about, right? I'm going through a lot more effort to make this classic English trough and get the word out about it than like most people in the world. I would venture to guess. I'm like in the top billionth of people qualified to teach this. So I should have a lot of forgiveness for myself for what's going on here. Yeah, I'm thinking through what am I going to do to solve the problem. And as I mentioned earlier, I left it under wraps. I don't, ever since that morning, it was 2 mornings ago, I haven't looked at it. So I don't know whether the solution I'm about to implement here was the right move, whether it looks good aesthetically, whether it's functional, whether it's durable, and whether I like it. So those are all open questions. But that's why I love working with cement, because I'm an ideas person, but I know that sometimes things have to become concrete. In the fractal that is my universe, like, I was meant to work with cement. I was meant to be a magical cement fairy. So that kid that's in the shrine on my table there, the 15-year-old version of me, was already a magical cement fairy. It would just take a while for him to show his wings. Hi, Endo. This is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I only want to live twice, though. That's why I don't want to do editing where I have to rearrange sequences or anything. I'm just going to talk for a while, live streaming, and then I'm just going to cut out the parts that don't belong. And people can just figure it out from there. That was so cute. I loved it when he did that. I tried to get him to do it again. He's learning to play. He's really cute. Still tentative about it. Yeah. So this is where I was starting to just accept that it wasn't going to turn out the way that I thought it would. And that I was okay with it. And I was just going to make the best of it. And if that sounds like a metaphor for my life, you were spot on. You are tracking. I will move the camera in here a little bit. I'm going to move the camera around quite a lot, actually, while I'm implementing my proposed solution. So you will get a closer view of what's happening. Yep, those are my magical cement fairy pants. I think the ass needs to say fairy. Like, it'll be magical, cement, and then fairy on the ass. Yeah. Because I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, where am I going to put all these letters? I like the idea of having fairy on my ass because it'll be so triggering to some people. Including myself. But I'll wear it anyway. So this is showing the process of distressing. My recommendation is that you distress your work within around 12 to 16 hours after you finish the pour. And this method that I'm using is the easiest that I've found. There's another technique, well, you can call it a technique, but it's really just laziness and forgetfulness. And also, you know what? I'm going to be kind to myself. When I've made these previously, I've had a lot of shit going on and I wasn't able to attend to them. And I guess I just needed the experience of hand chiseling them, because that's the other option. You can wait until they're cured. If you wait any longer than like 24 hours, then you have to chip away at them with a hammer and some kind of instrument. Yeah, so here we're moving in closer. I'm just using a pointed trowel. See how easy it is to subtract the material? What I'm doing is I'm attempting to make it look like it's a stone trough that was hewn by hand. And at this stage, yes, you can easily subtract material. And I like rounded corners, so in a little bit here I'm going to round off the corners. And I also like to make these marks, like rock saw marks. Yeah, these troughs, they're called hypertufa, but the origin is really fun. In England, tufa stone was used by farmers, well, probably by stonemasons, or stonemason isn't the right word, right? Whoever makes stone products, those type of folks, stone folk, yeah. They would go to tufa quarries and get hunks of stone, and then they would chip away at it to make troughs for livestock. And then in the middle, I would say probably in the middle 1900s, mid 20th century, these troughs became very popular among gardeners, and the troughs were repurposed as planters, and they are collector's items now. It's very hard to find one, and if you do find one, you have to pay a lot of money for it. So that's why I wanted to demonstrate this technique and share the recipe so that people can, for probably a cost of less than $50 US, can have a classic English trough, unless you do what I did to mine. Yeah, so the solution I came up with is to make it seem like I did, like what I did by accident was on purpose, kind of. But also in my mind, I was like, you know what? This could be an Old English trough that was damaged. Like, that's a fun story for it. Like, it was damaged in shipping. It had to come all the way from fucking Shropshire. Shit's bound to happen to it. So, she's in rough shape. She's old, she's tired, and she's brittle. And she needed a makeover. So that was also the story playing out in my head. That this was a kind of repair job. But in the first place, I had to distress, so I'm continuing to distress here. And just chipping away the layers. I have footage, which I will show you in a future version of Hard for Cement. I have footage of me doing the hand chipping, which is what needs to happen if you wait more than about 24 hours. It hardens up, and it's like close to having to chip stone. Well, it's not, but it's not fun either. It takes a lot of muscle power. We have the ability to accelerate this, so let's go ahead and do that. Eventually, I do want to go to bed. It's like 12:37 in the morning, and my second caffeine is wearing off. So, yes. Distress, distress, distress. Yeah, this is a better pace. I'm learning. This is my second live stream as the Magical Cement Fairy. I promise you I will get faster at noticing when I'm distracted. Sometimes, but a lot of times I won't notice, and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. But eventually we will get to the destination. And then we'll just erase the parts that are not relevant to making this fucking trough. Because that's the purpose of this video. Okay, now. Yeah, no, sorry, I realized that this corner is toast too. Yeah, I'm excited to see my process here of fixing things. Or attempting to. We don't know because I haven't gone out and looked at it. It could have been a terrible mistake. Could have been a mistake on top of a mistake, to the extent where I'm just like, I'm going to scrap this one. Or it could be the most valuable planter that's was ever created. Just like my hat. Like in last night's live stream, I said I would not sell this hat for $1 million. And I need the money right now. But I would not part with this hat. This is a magic hat. The stuff that's happened in my life since I first painted this hat. My life is very different. If you want to mix things up, paint yourself a magic hat. And wear it in public. Wear it on an airplane. Yeah, it's just fun. When I wear it on an airplane, people are like, cool hat. Some people. Most people are like, pretend this is not happening. But occasionally, there will be a cool person who's just like, hey, nice hat. You mixed it up. I like that. I like having a magic hat. Yeah, I'm liking how the exterior looks. I like that despite the accident, it still has that hand-hewn look to it. And indeed, it is hand-hewn in a way. Uh-oh. What's happening here? I think I ran out of Greg Freeman, Colorado. Yeah, I'm just adding more to the queue. It was like I was addicted to a drug. I'm just now coming out of it. It happened last night. After last night's live stream, I finally let the rest of the album play forward. Before, I would just repeat Colorado over and over and over again. But after last night's live stream, I was like, I'm ready to hear the rest of this album. And the rest of it is also fucking good. Yeah. I'm going to see who, I'm like, you better believe I'm going to be at that show. There's going to be a show in Seattle in December. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might pass out. Because this is like more extreme than my adoration of Frico. And I fucking love Frico too. Yeah. Ooh, this is a great angle. This is facing out into my cottonstone graveyard. A lot of my test pots are out, running loose over there. I made dozens and dozens and dozens of cottonstone pots when I was working on that process. Yes. Okay. Now we're about to get to it. Because I'm done with the distressing part and I'm thinking, this is funny at double time. Yeah. Okay, this is the part where I'm actually coming up with a solution. If you can tell from the context clues. What am I going to do with this mess? It's almost like there's suspense built into this live stream. If only I had viewers, they'd be glued. Absolutely glued to their screen right now. What the hell is he gonna do to get out of this jam? Magical cement fairy. Viewers would be scoffing, positively scoffing at this point. And I was like, bring it. Bring it. Although the jury's still out. We don't know. We don't know how it turned out. It's out there curing in the garage, in the studio. We don't know. Oh, yeah, I remember now doing these shots. Just I really wanted to take you there. I should move myself over. Okay, no one's in camera 2. No one's in camera 2. So I'm going to be over here, and I'm going to shrink camera 2 down. Like, it's a dog cam, so we never want to have it fully go away. So we need to keep an eye on those guys. They cannot be trusted. Okay, yeah, that's better. I can be on this side. I didn't even have to move. Okay. Yes, this is another thing that I'm putting into my bank, my memory bank. Learning how to live stream. I can move my visage around. I can move my visage around at any point. I'm telling you, this song activates my involuntary running man syndrome in the worst way. It's like an itch you have to scratch. I have to do the running man, or I have to juke in some way. Juke and jive, as my 6th grade teacher used to say. No, he used to say shuck and jive. Yeah. I also liked the word juke when I was a kid. Just like, and if I were a professional, I wouldn't have this bright light shining right there. I know. For future reference, I'm well aware of how bright that light is and how much of a problem it is. And the whole left 2/3 of the screen, we don't need anything that's over there really, because it never moves. It's just got a bright light that's shining in our eyes. What I'm doing is grabbing some cement powder and a little bit of sand. And now I'm getting the water. And I'm going to mix up a paste that's pretty runny. I'm changing my gloves, so every time you work with cement powder, you must wear a mask, like an N95 mask, an industrial quality mask. And you should use rubber gloves to protect your hands, because cement powder will dry your skin out like nothing. We're almost done with this one. It's just like 25 seconds. I'm going to get up and get another drink. Another flavored water. Actually, I have enough in here. But I'm still going to get up and get a snack because I'm getting hungry. Okay, so we're going to come back to the continued repair process. Actually, I'm just going to start the continued repair process. I don't need to narrate the whole thing because I'm only going to be gone for a little bit. I'm kind of intrigued about what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm showing the consistency of the repair material. Okay, actually I am going to pause it because I want to be able to narrate for the final video what's happening here. You should still be able to hear my voice because the microphone is attached to my beard and I'm moving about the cabin. I'll refrain from having another caffeinated drink. I'm not going to eat the whole bowl of stupid. I'm starting to get tired, so that's a good sign. I'm just going to come up here and grab a string cheese to take me over the finish line. I'm happy with how tonight's live stream has gone. I'm feeling more relaxed using like the different gadgets and gizmos that go along with doing a live stream. Because there's a number of things to manage. Which camera is on, like where's my placement on screen. But I really like having the green screen in the background. Because that allows me to just be floating anywhere I want on the screen, and also it allows me to be a character in my own story, which is fun. Okay, we're going to resume. We're going to get through this, folks. We are going to get through this. Hi, bud. No, I will give you a little treat when I get up next time, okay? Yeah, I will give you a little treat. He's so cute. All right, fine. Have a little piece of cheese. You are not supposed to eat cheese. Kind of like my mom telling us we weren't supposed to watch Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie. But we did it anyway. And we loved it. So this is the solution I implemented. If it seems underwhelming to you, it kind of does to me too. But we'll see. I've also been listening to Frank Ocean's Blonde album again a lot. It's been fun. I'm listening to it with new ears now that I've come out publicly. It's fucking good. I'm so sorry, Parsley. Peekaboo. Yep, I wanted you to see what was happening. So I pulled in the camera. The handle of my camera, which is also the battery, was in rough shape after this shoot. There was a lot of cement on top of it. and in the crevices and cracks. That was the price that I was willing to pay so that you could have a front row seat to whatever is happening here. I'm realizing I probably should have taken a dance break, but I'm just going to stretch. I'm going to stretch in place. That's also a possibility. Parsley just jumped ship. She's like, I'm tired. I'm done. Come on, Parsley, come back. Come back to us. I'm like hungry. I just want to keep eating. I will probably be zipping upstairs to grab another snack in a second. I'm at that portion of the evening. I'm done dancing. I'm done rapping. I'm almost done talking. I just want to get to the part where I'm like snuggling with the dogs in bed and drifting off to sleep. So it's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. But we're going to finish this. We're going to finish these last like 10 minutes. And maybe there will be a part 3. Because every time I live stream, it gets better. And I have to compliment myself on my winter savory performance tonight. I nailed it on the second time. I really fucking nailed it. Like, there are little improvements that I can make. I'm going to go back and listen to it tomorrow. But I felt the most like the character while I was performing in that version than I have since I started working on it in a public way. There's this time when you're like doing a lot of rehearsal where you have the character nailed in the privacy of your own home and you just really got it. But then when it's exposed to light and like when it's exposed to the eyes of others, even imagined eyes, like this live stream that no one is watching, it takes on a different sort of hue. And so you have to try to connect the best of your performance in the privacy of your own home with the performance in the spotlight. Like, how do you draw whatever that was when you're by yourself? How do you draw that out and like display it so that people can see how wonderful you are as Winter Savory, who has some pretty bold things to say to a turkey. Oh, excuse me. Let me get my white savory sign this, or winter savory sign, Enzo. Because yes. Hi, bud. Oops. Hi, buddy. His face looked exactly the same down there as it did on the screen. That was wild. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. We're about to do Winter Savory again. I feel like it should be behind me like that. This is the sign that I jived up and down 6th Avenue with and South Tacoma Way on Saturday night, and some lucky people got to see this and me with this sign. And I was listening to Greg Freeman's Colorado, and I was doing the involuntary running man up and down the street, just getting out the word about the Hip Hop Herbarium, not to mention my cement craft show, Hard for Cement. Yeah, so that was all leading up to this performance. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. I need to make myself bigger. This is like such brain rot think. I don't know. Is this something the kids would want to watch? You want flavory. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. I'm more umami than your mommy. This is why we practice. Cheese was a bad choice. Cheese is a bad choice when you're about to sing or rap. Why do I look like an Oompa Loompa? There we go. I need my hands free for this one. Because you fucking with the dom. I cannot have my hands tied up. You're the one who has to have your hands tied up. Because you're a turkey. You are a turkey. And I'm going to stuff you this Thanksgiving. And winter savory. Very strongly flavored herb. You don't want to mess with me because I will overpower your dish. It's been known since antiquity as a delicious herb, but one that could dominate. And that's why you want to be careful when you're using it in soups and stews, casseroles. Great flavor. You really want to limit how much you put in. Otherwise, you'll pay the consequences. Like the turkey, which is being stuffed in this wrap by Winter Savory, which is called which is called You Ain't in No Rom-Com. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. I'm more umami than your mommy who's your daddy, chicken patty. All the foods they call me Dommy. Just ask that pimp, I hope, pastrami. They all know that I'm a baddie when I pull up in my caddy. Feel the air goes all balmy at the sight of my salami. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with dom-dom. I skip the meet cute, stick it right up in that poop chute. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with dom-dom. Yeah, you in a porno, and I'm in your cornhole, plunging in my baster with all this pungent flavor. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with dom-dom. Squirt it up the inside, spurt it down the backside. I tantalize you with my vibe. I hypnotize you with my size. I tenderize your merchandise. I moisturize your breast, your thighs. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with the dom-dom. Yeah, you in a porno, and I'm in your cornhole, plunging in my baster with all this pungent flavor. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with the dom-dom. I like that version. I like that. That was good. Yeah. Okay. So feedback from myself is that it was good. I feel more embodied. I feel like the dom-dom is like taking possession of me. Yeah. I just want to be slightly more derisive. Like, you ain't fucking with the dom. No, you ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with the dom-dom. No. More derisive. More comedically derisive. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with the dom-dom. Yeah. It's just so close. So close. I have this vision. It involves wearing green leather chaps and having a whip and being winter savory. Kind of like when I'm, oh no, now it's caught on my earring. It's caught on my earring. Here's another example of like managing unexpected stuff when you're live streaming. Okay, what's happened here is like the jute cord from my winter savory sign, I think, is wrapped around my earring. Okay, oh no, there we go. Yeah. We're gonna get it. We're just gonna live with this. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with Dom. Squirt it up the inside, spurt it down the backside. I tantalize you with my vibe. I hypnotize you with my size. I tenderize your merchandise. I moisturize your breast fries, your Chester fries. Oh no, I forgot. I'm gonna get. YouTube's not gonna let this stand, right? I tenderize your merchandise. I moisturize your Chester fries. Chester fries, okay? But we all know that it's not that. It's pieces of meat that you would have on turkey. Chest. It rhymes with chest, and it rhymes with fries. And they're pieces of a turkey. So you do the math. And if you see me in a live performance, unless it's like a kid performance, a family-friendly performance, I will be using the real lyrics. And I mentioned this way earlier in this live stream, but I want to busk. I feel like that's the best way to get out this material. And I want to busk. You know, actually, the Olympia Farmers Market, it would be a really fun place to busk. I want to busk this out. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Because the other day I was investigating the Pike Place Market. I was like, yeah, because this would also be really fun at the Pike Place Market. Although the reason that I haven't pursued that as a serious avenue to date is because the raps are really like raunchy. And yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how people would take it. They would not like the Winter Savory song to be rapped at them. Can you imagine like this audience is like kind of like my audience when I did this rap for the first time at Bob's Java Jive a week ago, Tuesday, at the open mic. First song that I did was my Bay Laurel song. You put me in, then you take me out, but I'm the dopest flavor booster in the here and now. You're a scrupulous seducer, that's without a doubt, because you put me in, then you take me out. I'm Bay Laurel and I can sing. I can sing anything. But first I want to bring up how much you sting when you treat this like it's a fling. You put me in, then you take me out, but I'm the dopest flavor booster in the here and now. You're a scrupulous seducer, that's without a doubt, because you put me in, then you take me out. That one, the Bay Laurel one. That was my main number. My main number, the Bob's Java Jive open mic last Tuesday evening. And then I rolled out the test version of Winter Savory, which I had not performed for an audience before. I mean, small groups of people. Well, just, yeah, 3 people had heard it before. My own family living upstairs. I whisper it under my breath when I'm near them. They don't want to hear this. They're so sick of my raps. They're not my audience. I had to venture out beyond the confines of my own domicile to find a ready audience. But anyway, I was at Bob's. And I rapped the first one, and I killed it, of course. Dopest flavor booster. And then I was like, I've got another one for y'all. And this one is about Winter Savory. And I said it's very dominant, but I neglected to point out that the object of the subject of the song, Winter Savory is having discussion is too strong of a word. Winter Savory is telling this turkey how it's going to be. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom. But I didn't point out that it was to the turkey. I just started singing. I just started rapping it. And they were really confused. They liked it, but they were confused. So that's an important detail. Winter Savory is singing to a turkey. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. If you want flavory, yo, flaunt the savory. I'm more umami than your mommy. Who's your daddy, chicken batty? All the foods they call me Dommy. Just ask that pimp I hope, pastrami. They all know that I'm a baddie when I pull up in my caddy. Feel the air goes all balmy at the sight of my salami. You ain't in no rom-com. You fucking with a dom-dom. Okay. What's this 3-minute one here? We're really close to being done for the night, which is good because I'm hungry. I want to eat. I want to stop talking. My throat hurts. I want to eat. Oh, look at Enzo. Can I make myself smaller here? Nope. Not that self. The other self. And more of like in the corner. Okay. We're just about done, people. Just about done, guys, for the night. And I think we made some wonderful progress. And I got a great pair of cowboy boots today for only less than $15 down at the Value Village. Came through for me again. Yeah. I'm on the right track. Doesn't seem like it some days, but I am on the right track. How could I not be? When I look like this. Yeah. So fun. I will be dancing us out. Because we only have about 10 more seconds here. So this is me putting the wrap over this is the vapor barrier. You want to have the moisture trapped inside with the work. Enzo's so cute. Okay. All right. I don't think I have to tell you what song we're going to be dancing to. And then we'll be done for the night. That's a good ending there with Enzo looking off to that. See, Enzo is doing he's at the very end of the Colorado song. He's like, but tonight it seems so clear to me. And he's looking out and looking up like I do at the end. Okay. Thank you for watching. And we will see you the next time that I stream. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the show.